Hi, and welcome to Microsoft Power Tools channel, where you learn everything about analytics, automation, and productivity. In this video, I'm going to walk you through how to undo Microsoft Form file upload error when made optional in Microsoft Power Automate. What do I mean by that? I'm going to show you the error first, then we rebuild this entire solution and you'll be able to see how to handle that. To put a context to this, as you can see, I have a form here with two file upload options. First one is compulsory. If I put it back in form edit, you see this is compulsory, is required, and it's just one upload. But here is multiple upload, but it is not required. So it is not even about being multiple that matters here. What matters here is being not required. So how do you manage this kind of thing in Power Automate? But what error do they even pose in the first place? I'm going to test this by filling. So before I fill, I've done two things. First, I assume that I'm passing all the information to my list, this Microsoft list, a record I've created for this. And also I've created a flow that connects to this form that creates, a list, that creates the item on the list, that takes in the past JSON for the file uploads, and I also have the one that add it as an attachment to Microsoft list. The second one also add the second attachment as a file on Microsoft list. So let's test, and then we're able to spot the error. I'm going to preview, and the first thing, let me upload the first file. I'll just go straight upload the file. Okay, it's uploading. Then this is the second one, upload professional certificate. I can upload, okay, one file limit is one. Let me just here and pick one. All right, I'm going to click on submit, and what should we expect? I'm going to go back to this list. We should expect the file, the item here, and the attachment should be there. So the form, the flow should run. Yes, we have it now. And when I double click to open, I'm going to see the attachment are there. So that's fine. So the thing is, when you create Microsoft Form and you have a file upload options, the moment you make one optional, this guy is optional, the second one, while the first one is required. So as long as you upload something for both, they're going to work fine. But you face the error when the one that is optional is not, you don't have any file. So let's just try it out. So I'm previewing again. Let me upload this time, and let me upload this for the required, and for optional, let me leave it. So I'm just going to leave the optional, then click on submit. All right, so I'm expecting this new thing to drop. Maybe I can just go back here to see the file that I'm running. All right, this was successful, but the recent one wasn't successful. If I open it up, that's when you see the frustration. So because the file is empty, the JSON object could not process it. And that becomes an error. And that becomes an issue. So you won't be able to, any file upload that you have that is optional, when the person did not fill or upload something, they're going to face an error. The flow will fail. And I'm sure by the time you come across that, maybe the scenarios, I'm going to paint one scenario in this video, and then we're going to solve it together. Okay, now that we understand where the error might come, and let us just create a scenario, and I'm going to build all these three things from beginning. I'm going to create the flow from beginning, create the form from beginning, and also the list from scratch. So let me start with the list. It's easy. How do you navigate? Let me assume I'm here on Microsoft Form. Go back here and click on this dotted matrix. You can do that anywhere on Microsoft application. Just locate list. By the way, list is extracted from SharePoint. The same thing as going to SharePoint and creating a site and creating a list. I'm just going to create list so that you can also get used to this. I'm going to create a new list, and I will call it employee certification update. Employee certification update. So the goal here is we want to have people to update their credentials. Your primary school certificate, your secondary school, your university, professional certificate that you have. Just upload them so that we can update your records. Alright, so where do you want to save it to? You can attach it to any SharePoint site, but I don't want to because I also want to teach you something here. Okay, so I'm going to click on create. Employee certification update. That is the list, which is the backend. And now I have to add my questions. Just this is title, which is the same thing as my ID. Here I'm going to create employee name. Let me for employee name, single line of text. Another column, employee email address, employee email. Let me also capture the time submitted. So this is date and time, and I'm just going to call it submission time. So include the time and say OK. Let's click on OK. So I have OK. So once we fill an employee fill a form, it should be here, and when I click on that line, I should see the attachment as the those certificate or whatever the document that was uploaded. All right, let's go back to form and create form. So I'll go back to forms and create a new form just for the purpose of this. So this is new form, and I'm going to just name it same name, employee certification update. The objective is just to collect the certificate, and I'm not going to have so much fields there. So employee certification update. So if you know me, I often like segmenting things so that the look and feel can be a little bit better. So that's why I'm adding session twice. That way you can turn this to click here to proceed. Actually, it's click next to proceed. So, and here is the session 2 where I need to add my questions. So the first one, I'm not collecting them because the person is within the organization, so it's automatically going to retrieve the name and the email, at least the email. So the next thing is just upload. So file upload, and what it will do is to create a folder on my OneDrive for business. Okay. So let's upload two things. First, kindly upload your university certificate. Let's call it first degree certificate. So just one file, upload, and is required. And the second one is also an upload, file upload, but this time around it is not optional and it's more than one file. You can upload as many as you have. So which document are we referring to here? Let this be professional certification. Kindly upload your professional certifications. So you can add a description here, subtitle, upload up to 10. Upload can take, let's say, up to 10. Okay, so we are fine. Now we have the form. When I click on preview, I see click next to proceed. I click next, I can upload now. Okay, click on back, and the next is Power Automate. I'm going to go back and create a new flow, which is an automated cloud flow. This is going to connect as a trigger when a new response is submitted on my form. And I'm also going to name this employee certification update. All right, let's pick it up. The form is employee certification update, which is what I have here. The next step is to get response details. Whatsoever is filled, I want to get them. Get response details. That's it from forms. I still need to select the form and also the ID. So I'm going to locate employee certification update, and the response ID is the ID that got this flow triggered, which is the response ID here. The next is I want to create item. So I want to create item on SharePoint, create item. Interestingly, for Microsoft List, you still need to use create item for SharePoint to add these things to the list that I've created. Don't forget that the list is also very is a tool within SharePoint. So it's asking me to select my SharePoint website, and looking at the list of sites here, none of them, the list is not attached to any site. So how do you pick it up? what you're going to do is click on enter custom value, go back to your list. There's an address where all your lists that are not attached to a SharePoint site are. When you look at the URL before the list starts, you will see this place, your domain, your SharePoint personal, and this joint together, your username plus the organization domain plus on Microsoft. Yeah, so I'm going to click OK before the list. So I copy that, Ctrl C to copy. Now I'll come back here and paste. That way, every list that I have, I'll be able to retrieve them here. So these are the lists that I've created that are not attached to SharePoint. So what I'm interested in, employee certification update. Once I click that, it's going to list all the columns that I have on that list so that I can fill them up. Alright, so that's what I have here. The title, I just want to use the ID. The employee name, I need you to check some of my videos how to retrieve employee name, because Microsoft Form will only give you the responder email. So that will be your assignment when you are doing this task. You can check other videos on my channel how to put the email, how to retrieve email using the how to retrieve employee name using email address. So I have the email and submission time. I'm going to click on submission time. So this will just create the items. How about the attachment? We need to add the attachment alongside. That is why I'm going to use an action called pass JSON. That's this action. And okay, what's the first content I asked them to upload? That is the first degree certificate. How about the schema? You need to specify a schema, and there's a general schema. I'm going to drop the link to this gist on in the video description, so you can just copy. This is a standard schema instead of you writing it yourself, except you know how to do that. But what does this mean? Whenever you upload something on Microsoft Form, it lumps them together. There's several information that is compacted together. So what you upload is not just what it is. You will have one, the name of what you upload, the name of the file. You have the link to retrieve the file, the ID of the file, where it is stored on OneDrive for Business, the type of file you upload, the size, the reference ID, the drive ID, the status, and the upload session URL. These are everything that was lumped together. So the essence of this JSON schema is to break them down. That okay, strip all of them, strip them up to this, so that I can pick anyone that I just need. And that is how we can retrieve the content itself. Remember, when you upload something, I'm copying this now. When you upload something, you didn't upload on Microsoft Form, the upload will not follow to Power Automate. The upload itself will be dropped in a folder, OneDrive folder. And you see under apps, and Microsoft Form is going to create a folder for that forms and drop every upload there. So you don't have access to the form directly, but you have informations which are contained in this schema that you can use to retrieve that content, and that's the ID here. All right, so I've done this for the first. Let's also create pass JSON for the second upload. Pass JSON, and this time around the objective, the file to undo here is that's a professional certification. Upload professional certification. And the schema is still the same, is a general schema. You don't need to disturb yourself. Let me call this first degree and call this professional certification. Alright, our professional certification. Let me just save this while we move on. So now that we have the schema, the JSON object action that has helped us to strip them so that we can locate them, the next step is let's retrieve the file content itself. So I'm going to search for get file content from OneDrive for Business, which is going to help me to retrieve that file. So all I need to supply is the unique identifier of the file. So within OneDrive for Business, once I pass the ID for, this time around, let's start with first degree. The ID for first degree, this is what the pass JSON has stripped for us. All the, items that we can make use of. But I'm interested in the ID. What we're saying there is that take this ID, go to OneDrive for Business, help me search through any file that has that ID, retrieve the content itself for me. And that's what I've done here, get file content. Once it is gotten, then we need to add attachment. So this time around, we will be able to add the attachment to SharePoint. Alright, so remember, we still need to specify the site again. Enter custom value. Because I have it copied, so I'm just going to click on it here. So this is it here. Then I'm able to retrieve the list. The next is, what is the ID? There may be several items on that list. Who should I attach this file for? Okay, that's the custom create ID, the ID you created. So I'm going to add this. What's the file name? The file name is already in the first degree. It's part of the thing that was stripped for us. Name. How about the file content? You're going to see get file content. I'm going to put it there. Of course, to make it easier, let's just get file content. You can say first degree, so that when we are reading our dynamic content, we can understand. But if you take note of this, as put this in apply to each loop. So once you have attached this, just move out of the loop. Then we have to replicate this thing again, but this time around with another details. So I'm going to add a new step for professional certificate. Get file content. Get file content. Remember, I need to supply that with the file content. This time around, go under the professional certification and not under first degree. So under professional certification, I'm going to add ID. Again, put inside the loop because it's going to reiterate that for as many as possible. But this is just one. The next is to add attachment. Add attachment from SharePoint to SharePoint. I need to also, enter custom value and paste the site URL, which I have now. Then list name will appear. I will select the list. Which ID? Still the same ID you created, which is the one coming from create ID item. The file name, this time around, I should choose the name from under professional certification. There's the name. And the content, you see, the content here is this guy. Because we're inside this loop, I won't be able to have access to the content inside the former loop. So this is file content. Of course, I can rename this and call it professional certification. All right, so we are done and I can save it now. All right, so this is the first stage. You see, and this is what I did when I introduced you to the course. So, to this content, if we try the form by filling it, let me fill the form here, upload. Let me just upload slide 1 here and here. Okay, there's something about the form. I need to go back. The second upload is compulsory. It shouldn't be compulsory because that's what we want to learn. Okay, it's optional because what if someone just joined the organization, you have first degree but you don't have professional certification, so shouldn't bother to upload anything there. Okay, let's preview now. I'm going to upload something here. Let me just upload slide 4, and here I'm going to upload something. We need to see it working first, and that takes me back. Let me use slide 1. That takes me back to the contest that when you upload, even though it is optional, the moment you upload something for both, it will work. The flow will run. I'm going to click back here and go back to my list just to see. All right, awesome. You see, we have it here, including the time. The time zone is different because I just created it and it's using my regional time zone, which is different. I can set that right. I already have a video created to address this as well on my channel. Take your time to just search through the list of videos that you will see how to correct the time on SharePoint. It's on the beginner track. Okay, let us double click. Don't also forget that the employee name is not appearing there because I'm giving you that as an assignment to also check videos on my channel how to retrieve employees details from Office 365 within Power Automate. When I double click just to see the details of this, voila, the two attachments, they are there. So it works perfectly. You see, it works perfectly. All right, so let's fill the form again. This time around, I'm going to upload something for the one that's compulsory and upload nothing for the one that is not compulsory, which is this. So I'm going to click on submit. Great. So let's come back here and wait for this to drop. Voila, it drops. Wow. So let's double click. Oops, no attachment. The items were created, but the attachments were not there. So let's go back here and just refresh it to see the status. Oh, it actually failed. Okay, let's look at it to check the details of this failure. I can see some error message. It processed the first pass JSON. It has, of course, obviously it has created the item. That's why we have the details. But the parts that we had the attachment were not there. Mind you, if I put apply to each one below first degree, then it's going to upload the first degree certificate. But for professional certification, it will not proceed, and definitely the flow will fail. And you just be troubled. Oh, the record is there. I can't see it. I uploaded it. Oh, I can't see. That argument will start. So the error here is saying that it requires content and is getting null, meaning there was nothing that was attached. Nothing was attached. So whenever there was nothing attached, it will not be successful. And that takes us back to the introduction of this video. So how do we move forward? All right. So to move forward, I need to, under professional certification, first I can just rearrange this, bring this here, so that I just process that. So if it fails here, at least let that one work. And before professional certification, I need to do something, which is going to add an action, which is a condition. I'm going to add a condition. And in this condition, what I want to check is if it is empty. If the content in that upload professional certificate is empty, then don't do anything. Then mean that the person did not upload anything. But when there's a content, then use the pass JSON and add the attachment. That's the condition. So how do we do that? I've come to expression to write a simple expression. I'm going to type empty and open a bracket. So what do I want to check if empty? Go to dynamic content, then locate, scroll to locate upload professional certificate. Kindly upload your professional certifications. I'm clicking OK. So that has wrapped. It's saying empty is equal to true. So I'm going to type here true. Is empty equals to true? So meaning, is the file here, is it empty? That's what I'm asking here. If it is empty, don't do anything. But if it is not empty, then let me just drag this in. I'm just going to drag this, guys, in, and that is it. So this will solve the problem. That condition solves everything. All right. To make it easier, let's this time around test, but automatically using the one that failed because there was nothing uploaded for the second one. So I'm going to test, and we're going to see this time around. So the process is running for the first guy. Oops, we still have that same error, and is evaluating to false. Empty is true. Okay. So let me edit. I guess the condition here is true, not capital letter T. I just need to validate. But if this is true, right, so we have one more field attempt to use for this test, just to be sure. Oh, that is actually what it is. It is small letter T and not capital letter. I was just using the boolean. So this works. Say it's true. What that means is, let's go back here. We have tested this 3 times now. So this is the first one. I'm going to double click on this guy. So 3 was there, was uploaded. Let me just refresh because the failed was tested twice. So I should see it, 3 times. The second time again, it stayed there. Let us now fill the form this time around, end to end. We're going to upload something for both. Let's see if it's going to be successful. Slide 1. And for this second guy, I'm going to upload slide 2. I'm going to click on submit. Let's see if both, if you have file uploaded for both, will it still be successful? So I'm waiting. That is currently running, and I'm coming back here to also see. Third, okay, is here on file, is running. When I refresh, it succeeded. So on the list, if I double click, I have both files, slide 1 and slide 2. Let us go back to the form and submit another response. And this time around, the one that is compulsory, I have to just upload something. Let me upload slide 1. The one that is not compulsory, yeah, nothing to upload. I'm going to click on submit. I'm interested in the flow as well, so let's see if it's going to be successful. Imagine it's successful. Just few seconds, it's successful. And coming back here, I should see number 4 dropping on this list. I don't want to waste time. I'm just going to refresh. You're going to see number 4 drop here. When I click on it, I will see the one that was attached. Because the second there was no other attachment than this, then is here. But remember, the flow is now successful. So going back to the concept is whenever you have a form upload field that is optional, you need to come back to your flow. When you are using past JSON to manage that, you need to add an exception, add a condition and type empty and check if the file that was uploaded is empty is equals to true. If it's empty, then don't do anything, just move on because there was nothing to handle. But if someone uploads something, then you apply the past JSON to split it into the schema and also retrieve the content and add it to the Sharepoint list. Thank you so much. I want to believe you've learned something really tangible, especially the use case that is presented here today. Of course, I want to see you making use of it in your organization. If you have any issue, engage in the comment section. Don't forget to like this video and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. More videos are coming. In the next episode that will be released after this one, I'm going to show you how to manage multiple items. Take for example, this one that we have now. How do I manage this file? We're going to see that like what if you have upload that is upload professional certification, another set of upload that is asking you to upload your passport, another one asking you to upload something else. Let's say we have up to 5, 6, 7 upload fields. How do you manage them? Will you keep on drafting past JSON for all of them, apply to each for all of them? What if they're up to 10? What's the best way to manage file upload even when you are uploading more than 5 files? Not because it's a multiple file upload like this one, but because the questions are up to 5 times that is requesting you to upload something. How do you manage them without writing too much flows? We're going to see that in the next video. So keep in touch and bye for now.